Zach Wilson, what the
How do you look?
hell
How do you look,
is?
Emma?
I mean,
What did you think? Were you encouraged?
I was not encouraged. I was not encouraged. He looked so bad that I mean, the thing is that he has physical ability, and I think if I have a blind spot in consuming football, I can be wowed sometimes by physical ability more than others because I just feel like, oh, that's, I have faith in some coaching staffs to mold a certain talent and then you can get the most out of them. But with Zach Wilson, it's like, is he moldable? Because we're getting little trickles of information that he might be a brat. He might be a little twerp. He might be a spoiled asshole.
Yeah, if we can take anything from our call with Gabriel from Salt Lake City last week, uh, his response in the post game presser after leading a offense to 3 points over 4 quarters with negative passing yardage in the second half,
Nine
while
for
the
22 for 77 yards in
while
a professional football game in 2022.
while the defense also held the Patriots, for 4 quarters to 3 points, and if not for a punt return touchdown that a justifiably exhausted team would make after having no opportunities essentially to take a break from protecting. I can't express this enough. A 3-3 tie to lose 10-3 while the clock expires in the fourth quarter, and then to go out and kind of take responsibility. I watched the 3 minutes of press availability he had. He sort of was like, I didn't hit open guys.
He was out there for 3 minutes. That's it.
Yep, then he left.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last question he received was, do you take any responsibility for 3 points from you guys, the Jets, the defense? The defense held the Patriots to three. Take any accountability for kind of like not being able to help them out more? And he says no, and then leaves. That to me, regardless of whatever his teammates say, or whatever his coaching staff says afterwards, is total bullshit. I'm sorry. I know he hasn't started that many games. I know he hasn't been fully healthy. You can't say that
Yeah.
because it's not true.
I mean,
It's a lie. It's frankly a lie because he actually did put them in a worse situation, and he played like shit. He played poorly, and it wasn't even as if the Patriots defense, which is very good, I'm not disputing that, was blanketing every receiver. You can look through the all 22, and there are multiple shots he could have taken. One for a touchdown to Denzel Mims that instead he employed the classic Zach Wilson controller
scrambled to
drift
his left.
and scrambled to his left after taking 25-step drop back, not seeing the open guy because his eyes are all over the place and his feet are all over the place. He had Tyler Conklin wide open that he just sailed the ball that was wobbling in the air to Devin and right into Devin McCourty's hands. That's on him. That's not on anybody else. And
it's a
that
miracle that he did not throw a pick given some of those passes, right? Like
that was my issue with the Denver game. Is that the reason why I was saying kind of that I almost thought it was as bad as the first Patriots game was because there were numerous throws where just by luck alone they weren't intercepted, and that's my issue. Is that it's one thing if you're only making really bad plays and then there are other flashes, but if you are making not only bad plays but also preemptively bad plays, like plays that are basically like no, yes, like
Yeah.
it's
and also not
it
seemingly
points to
taking the coaching on his footwork
right.
and on his progressions.
And
like,
the eyes, I mean, just literally both simultaneously not seeing the open man, but then also not settling or not having a consistent cadence with them either.
mm-hmm.
Defenses like a Belichick defense prey on that shit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it's just like it's one thing to kind of be a placeholder and while the rest of the team does a lot of great things around you. Like while the defense is pretty locked down, the running game looks good. And don't get me wrong, this offensive line is in like its 17th iteration since week 1. I understand that, but better young quarterbacks show flashes in these games and show progress in these games, and he's not showing progress.
Well,
if anything, he's looking worse than he did
Mac
earlier
Jones
in the season.
Mac Jones is not having a good year, and he's regressed partially due to the fact that his offensive coordinators I know that they have different roles, but I'm sure, but they work together. In Patricia and Joe Judge are not offensive minds. Part of that's the reason for it. But like, he lost two offensive linemen in the middle of that game, Bradley. Isaiah Wynn left in the middle of the game, and David Andrews. And so
David Andrews, the guy I always think is on the Rams, and is actually
yeah,
on the Patriots.
but the point is that like he still played fairly fine given the
No,
that
100%,
adversity.
absolutely.
And Zach Wilson, so he doesn't on the other side of the ball have that excuse because I mean Mac Jones was getting sacked over and over again. I felt like every time I looked back at that game,
He was being sacked.
he was being sacked. I mean,
someone was being sacked.
someone was, but I think Mac Jones was sacked more. And it wasn't a particularly close game, though. I mean, the Patriots just looked like they dominated the game from start to finish, but Nick Folk kept missing field goals, and
Right,
so,
like if he makes one or two, it's
so the
it's
outcome,
over. Like they weren't even able. The Jets were not able to move the ball.
No,
They
I
just
would
were
not.
able to move
I
the
would
ball.
not be upset about the outcome. In the sense that if the win wasn't so bad, Nick Folk would have hit those, and they would have gone up, and it would have been a 9-3 game as opposed to the
Right.
kick return from Marcus Jones, which is the first or punt return, I should say.
No, because
The
as
first punt return touchdown of the season in week 11.
no, because as you understand, of course, since 2015, when I was 19 years old, which was the last time that the Jets or the when the 14 game win streak for the Patriots over the Jets started.
Oh baby!
There is no bottom to the degree of ways that the Jets can find to uniquely lose to the Patriots in the most embarrassing way imaginable given the context.
Oh whoa!
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
how I'm feeling about this team. And it's just frustrating because, but listen, at the end of the day, like the one thing is like, I understand some people have been saying like on social media and in like, NFL punditry have been kind of been saying like, one, the offensive line is really hurt and in a lot of different iterations. Like I said, it was bad weather. Like he still has a positive record as a starter and he's still very young. Like, I get all of that, but at some point I think the contribution to the culture of the team as well as the contribution on the field have to add up at some point and have to consistently add up, and that hasn't happened in a season and a half.
That part
it's
is
gotta happen at
concerning,
some point.
and that's I think the stuff behind the scenes that maybe we don't see, where you can get wowed by his big arm, and then you're like, okay, but maybe he's just not committed to winning in the same way that other guys are. Like,
and maybe, frankly, and I hate to put it in these terms because I'm not trying to malign him like personally, but he just might not have the intelligence that it requires to be an NFL quarterback.
yeah.
The routine, what is consistent about the flashes that he has is also consistent in his drawbacks. Every time that he has a bad game like this, and I mean like a precipitously bad game, like the first game against New England, this game against New England, and the Denver game, are the same concerns, are the same desire to drop back too far, to scramble too far to one direction when he does not need to miss open guys both who are either in the red zone, approaching the red zone, or also not being able to really make anything happen outside of sideline to sideline balls, like nothing over the middle. No.
Almost another the issue with another Wilson who.
Yes, exactly.
Who, I mean, Russell Wilson has a hard time seeing over the middle of the offensive line and throwing balls over the middle.
Exactly, and the thing is, what concerns me is that. Yes, on one hand, it's like you obviously see what needs to be improved, but the degree of what needs to be improved and what you see that needs to be improved, that sustains. That is sustaining. The bad parts are sustaining, and that's really concerning to me.
It is year two.
But I haven't seen him have one game where I thought the entire game comprehensively he played well.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, and it's easy, I guess, to say I've never had an issue in my lifetime with the Giants quarterback not being committed to the franchise.
Must be nice,
I
Emma.
mean, right? Like Daniel Jones is not going to be a top 10 quarterback ever in his career, but he works hard and his teammates love him for it.
He works hard and he's
smart.
effective.
Yeah.
And he's shown how he can be effective this season. Zach has not shown that. Zach Wilson has not shown that.
And I mean, I know that Quinnen Williams said something nice about Zach Wilson after the game, but it really doesn't matter to me what they're saying in front of the camera. It really matters to me that there were multiple players who spoke to Connor Hughes of SNY with unnamed sources, multiple, saying that Wilson was, quote, walking around after the game like he isn't the problem. Per Connor Hughes, Wilson's demeanor, quote, rubbed more than a few the wrong way.
Which also like makes me, more that I agree that it's more concerning because I know obviously I know players bemoan the whole like unnamed sources, like who are you even talking to? It might not even be a real person. What that means is these guys want to talk and not be credited for it. They want to talk shit about Zach Wilson and not have their name attached to it.
Yes.
Good for Quinnen Williams because he's like a team guy. By all accounts, he's a mensch, like a genuinely good person, nice kid. Like he's always been perceived that way.
Bless you.
What?
Have you not seen that video of Quinnen Williams
sneezing
and blessing himself?
When he blesses himself.
Yeah.
And he's cute. Like he had braces when he was like coming out of the draft. Like he's just a cute. Like I appreciate that he's going out there and being the guy being like, to perpetuate that there is still a united front, that the frustration hasn't boiled over, because that if Quinnen Williams did not go the other way, went the other way in those remarks, I think it could contribute to a still souring locker room environment furthermore. But it's not great that Connor Hughes, who was, by the way, one of the most sourced guys in that locker room and one of the most sourced, like, reliable Jets reporters, is hearing that from players who don't want to be those quotes attributed to them.
Right. That is much more indicative than Quinnen Williams, who is going to do, I'm sure, what Saleh says.
Right. He's not going to go out there and shit on Zach in public. He's just not that kind of guy. Whereas Sauce Gardner, like, Sauce is permanent.
Yeah, Sauce
is out there liking tweets being like, this guy's ass.
Oh, yeah. That all, see, there you go, right?
Because let's be real. Who's more of a boss on the Jets right now? Sauce Gardner or Zach Wilson? I think it's Sauce.
Oh, we know. God, I love that Quinnen Williams clip so much.
I was thinking about that. It's absolutely so class. I thought for a second I was like, am I like loopy enough after the halfway through this show that I didn't realize that I sneezed on Mike? I was like, did I really do that and not notice?
Bless you, Bradley.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Yeah, it was like Gesundheit.
All right. Well, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's important. Like these are games that need to happen for a team who is overperforming but still has a lot of work to do in certain areas. They have to diagnose it. Like they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that either comes with Zach making these improvements that he has to make in order to be a franchise quarterback or something close to it, or they're going to have to do a lot of soul searching in the offseason about what the plan is.
Yeah, it is concerning. I mean, the fact that the again, as I said earlier, the Patriots dominated the game from start to finish.
Oh yeah,
they had. I know time of possession doesn't matter that much as much as it used to when teams were more run heavy, but Patriots won time of possession by 11 minutes.
Yeah, but because that's to win ugly and win ugly convincingly. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't really let the other team have the ball that much, and you exhaust the defense by making them have to continue to contain you.
Yeah. So with that, do you think the Jets are making the playoffs now that the Patriots have that double game tiebreaker? I mean, the Patriots are playing the Vikings this week, so on Thanksgiving.
And we will see how the trajectory for the Vikings goes from here after that very dispiriting loss against the Cowboys,
which we will get into.
But it's tough because it would be a different story if it was 1-1 in the season series, so to speak.
Yeah.
It being 2-0 is really tough because if it gets down to it, if there's a game margin, or if theoretically they're tied at week 17, it won't matter.
Yeah.
They will have to have a better record than the Patriots to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I struggle because it's not as if the strength of schedule. The Jets had a very difficult first half strength of schedule. Their second half is much easier, but they've put themselves behind the eight ball with not being able to get one out of the two Patriots games.
Yeah, agreed.